हेलो।
चालू कर दिए क्या
बोलना तो जरूरी है। हेलो, गुड मॉर्निंग। आवाज नहीं आ रहा। हेलो। 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 हेलो।
Hello.
हेलो। हेलो, कैन यू हियर मी?
Yes.
ओके, परफेक्ट। Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I request everyone to kindly mute your audio. So, thanks for your time. Today, we will talk about basic concepts of GST. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tax Acharya, to view our video on tax updates. To get the link, you can WhatsApp message at 90089 44082 so that I can share you the link. The rules are that please switch off your video and mute the audio. The duration of the webinar will be 40 minutes. And to get the copy of the today presentation, please send me a WhatsApp message again on the same number 90089 44082 with your name and email ID. You will provided the link of the webinar and all the materials which we have today discussed. So now let us start with the subject GST. GST is a single tax on the supply of goods and services right from the manufacturer to the customer. The input tax credit paid at each stage will be available in the subsequent stage of value addition, which makes GST essentially a tax only on value addition at each stage. It is the end customer who will bear only the GST charge by the last dealer in the supply chain with set of benefits at all the previous stages. With the streamlining of the multiple taxes, the final cost to the consumer will turn out to be low because of elimination of double charging system. So I just give you a background. What happened that before GST in India, there are a lot of taxes, indirect taxes, which are charged by central government. There are a number of taxes which are charged by state government, and that is the reason goods are being taxed multiple times when it reach to the customer. Also, administration of these taxes by the government is very difficult. Whether you are paying taxes at one state, whether you are not paying taxes at different states. So these are a really challenge. So that is why GST has been introduced in India to make one nation, one tax. GST stands for Goods and Service Tax. It is a destination-based consumption tax levied on multiple stages of product and distribution of goods and services in which taxes paid on inputs are allowed a set of against taxes payable on output. Thus, GST will be a single comprehensive integrated indirect tax on pure value addition and each stages. What are the salient features of GST? So right now we have understand why GST bought in India to eliminate number of taxes. But what are the features of GST which is right now prevailing? The GST is a dual model based. What is dual model based? It means both central and state government will have their share. So that is the reason. Suppose the rate of today rate is 18%, 9% will go to state government, 9% will go to central government, and that is why introduction of SGST and CGST has been brought up. Also, there is a single integrated comprehensive indirect tax called IGST, which is applicable when there are movement of goods from one state to another state. So you can see that in India, there are three kinds of taxes in GST, CGST, SGST, and IGST. And this is a destination-based consumption tax. So the final tax will be paid where the goods finally going to be consumed. Now, how would a particular transaction of goods and services be taxed simultaneously under CGST and state in case of intra-state transactions? So let us see this example. We'll spend some time on this sheet to understand how CGST or SGST Act will work. You can see the second column, manufacturing to wholesaler. So when the manufacturing cost is only 1,000, my profit assume in all the level, when manufacturing to wholesaler, wholesaler to retailer, and retailer to consumer, we assume 15%. So when manufacturer will sell to wholesaler, he will sell for 1,115. And when he's selling, he will add CGST and SGST at the rate of 9%. Why is charging CGST, SGST at 9%? Because it is a sale within the same state. Had it been a sale to other state, then it will be IGST at the rate of 18%. Now my sale value become 1315.7. Now, if you see the tax liability, I bifurcated into two parts. How much payable to central government, how much payable to state government. Right now, payable to central government and state government is same, which is 100.35. Now we move to wholesaler to retailer. The cost to the wholesaler is now 1,115. He will again make a profit margin of 115, and then accessible value for GST become 1,230. Now again, when he's selling the same within the same state, he required to charge CGST and SGST 9%, which become 110.7. So my sale value become 1,451. Now you can see earlier we have paid to the government 100 rupees. Now the same thing government is asking 110 rupees. Is the wholesaler required to pay 110? The answer is no. Because if you see down, the wholesaler will get credit for taxes paid when he purchased the goods, which is 100.35. So he will pay only 10.35, which is nothing but 9% of 115, which is nothing but 9% of 115. So now we move to the next level, retailer to consumer. The cost to the retailer will be 1,230. Profit, as we earlier decided, will be 115. The total value is will now become 1,345. On this, GST comes 9% will become 121, both for CGST and SGST. And the consumer finally pay 1,587 rupees. Is the retailer again required to pay 121? The answer is no. He will get tax credit for 110 and he will pay only 10.35, which is nothing but 15%, sorry, 9% of his 115 profit. So if you see, the government levying taxes at different levels, manufacturing level, wholesale level, retailer level, and everything on their profit. So you can see total tax collection, central government become 121.05. How it is coming? 100 plus 10 plus 10, which is come 121. So both central and state government is now getting 121.05 rupees, and which is ultimately paid by the consumer. Same chart will now work for IGST. Now we will discuss how would a particular transaction of goods and services be taxed simultaneously under CGST in the case of interstate transactions. So when you have interstate transaction, how things will work? In the case of interstate sale of goods and services, central government will levy integrated goods and services tax IGST on such transactions. IGST will be nothing but a sum total of CGST and SGST. Seller selling goods to buyer of other states to pay IGST. This IGST payable can be paid after adjusting the available credit of IGST, CGST, and SGST paid on purchases. Selling state will transfer to center the credit of IGST used in payment of IGST. Buyer of the other state will claim credit of IGST, will discharge his SGST liability. Center will transfer to the buyer state credit of IGST used in payment of SGST. In short, in case of interstate sale of goods and services, tax will be collected by central government, and after collecting will transfer 50% of the tax collected to state government whose buyer has purchased goods and services, as GST is a destination based consumption tax. This 50% will be transferred at the point when the buyer of the importing state sell goods and discharge his SGST liability. So with that, I have given you a very basic concept of GST, that what is GST, what is the purpose government has introduced the GST, and what is CGST, CGST, and IGST work. Now we come to the process of GST registration. Mandatory for business for turnover more than 40 lakhs. Point number one. Any interstate sale of goods and services. So till the time you are having turnover less than 40 lakhs, no problem. You don't have to register your business for GST. But the moment you make a small transfer of goods and services to outside your state, then yes, you have to mandatory register for GST. Sales to SEZ near to my place in my state, I got an opportunity to supply few goods and services to a SEZ. In that case also, I am required to get GST registered. The quantum of 40 lakhs will not work here. And 10 lakhs turnover for Northeast states. And also in the case I am making any export sales. Nowadays, there are a lot of freelancers who are working for number of across the globe. In that case also, they have to get GST registered. Before see how to get GST registration, let us see what are the types of taxpayers in GST we have. Let's see what kind of types of taxpayer we have. Let's get idea for that. Normal taxpayer. Most business in India fall under this category. You need not provide any deposit to become a normal taxpayer. There is also no expiry date for taxpayers who fall under this category. So means if you don't have any other conditions, you are a normal taxpayer. Casual taxable purpose. Individuals who wish to set up a seasonal shop or stalls can opt for this category. I can give you an example. So you are based at Karnataka or Bangalore. Now you want to make a stall in Delhi for 7 days in Pragati Maidan. You don't have the Delhi registration. And after 7 days, you will come back. You don't have to deal further with Delhi. Do you require a regular GST registration? The answer is no. You can get a casual taxable person registration. To get that, you must deposit an advance amount that is equal to the expected GST liability during the time the stall or seasonal shop is operational. The duration of the GST registration under this category is 3 months and can be extended or renewed. Now we come to the composition taxpayer. Apply for this if you wish to obtain the GST complete certification scheme. You will have to deposit a flat under this category. Input tax credit cannot be obtained under this category. So in the case you are going for a composition taxpayer, there is a turnover limit of maximum 2 crore. So you can go with that. You have to pay some flat based on business 1% or 2% GST. But remember, you will not get any credit for your input tax. So it means whatever 1%, 2% you are paying, that will be your cost to the business. Non-resident taxable person. If you live outside India, one second. If you live outside India but supply goods to individuals who stay in India, opt for this type of GST registration. Similar to the casual taxable person type, you must pay a deposit equal to the expected GST liability during the time. So in the case you are dealing with any non-resident taxable person who is providing any goods and services and he is required to pay tax on that, then he can also go for this kind of registration. Now let us see who should complete the GST registration. Individuals who have registered under the state, under the tax services before the GST law comes into effect. So in the case before the GST law was there and you have already have some kind of indirect tax registration, then you must have to take the GST registration. Non-resident taxable person and casual taxable person. Individuals who pay tax charge to control. I request everyone to kindly mute your audio. So I will give you we can take a detailed session on reverse charge mechanism. But right now I will just give you a background. What is reverse charge mechanism? There are few categories where the supplier or the vendor will not charge GST on you. I request everyone, please to mute everyone. I just so reverse charge mechanism. There are few like director fees are there, lawyers are there who don't charge GST on their invoices. In that scenario, you have to pay GST to the government when you purchase goods and services from this vendor. I give you example. My business is less than 40 lakhs. Very small business I have. But I import few goods and services. Import means from foreign countries. And when these foreign countries supply goods and services to me, they don't charge GST. So in that scenario, I left with no choice. I have to get GST registration and pay GST on whatever goods and services I have imported. All e-commerce aggregators, when we talk about e-commerce aggregators, we always talk of big names like Flipkart and Amazon or Snapdeal. But there are nowadays a lot of startup e-commerce have emerged, whose turnover may not be 40 lakhs in a year. They are also required to get GST registered. Business who have a turnover exceeding 40 lakhs, and in the case of Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, and Northeastern state, the turnover of the business should exceed 10 lakhs. Input service distributor and agent of a supplier. So here also I will spend few seconds on ISD. There may be a head office in one state, and it may have number of branches across the country. I can give you example like State Bank of India, LIC, Reliance, Hindustan Lever, big companies are there who have branches across the country. So they have to, if they want, they can go with input service distribution model, where all invoices will be raised on HO, and then HO will distribute the input credit to all the branches. And individuals providing database access and online information from outside India to people who live in India other than those who are registered taxable persons. So there may be individuals who are providing database access or any online support from outside India. They are also required to get the GST registration. So with this, we have try to explain who are the people who are required to get GST registration. Now the question being asked, what are the documents required to get the GST registration? PAN card, if it is individual, partnership, all partners PAN card, company or director's PAN card, and authorized signatory PAN card, Aadhaar card of all the above people, business address proof. You have to provide a business address proof. It means you have to provide a latest rent agreement, bank account statement, and cancelled check. You have to provide a latest 3-month bank statement having address of the registered office address and a cancelled check, incorporation certificate or the business registration proof. Digital signatures is also required in the case for the company. Directors or promoters ID proof, address proof, and photograph. Photograph means it should be in what we call a digital photo. Then letter of authorization or board resolution from authorized signatory and digital signature in case of company. So these are the documents required for the GST registration. Can I ask someone who has done the scribbling to remove the scribbling? One second, I just stop here and see whether it will work or not. This is better. Okay. Now we will see penalty for not completing the GST registration. If you do not pay tax or pay lesser amount, what is due? The penalty that is levied is 10% of the due amount. If you have not registered for GST and are deliberately trying to evade tax, the penalty levied is 100% of the due tax amount. So in the case you are liable to collect and pay GST, and if you're not doing that, then your government will collect 100% tax from you. You may recover from your customer, you may not. So be careful. And in the case of genuine errors, the minimum penalty is 10,000 rupees. Now we'll come to some FAQ. Who need to register for GST in India? I have already explained in this slide who required to get GST registration in India. So the answer is given, who required to get GST registration in India. How can I get the GST number? In order to get the GST number, you need to apply for GST registration by visiting the GST portal gst.gov.in. To start the process, you will need to have a valid email address, mobile number, and a PAN for the business. What are the documents required for GST registration? In this slide, I've already provided you the complete details of documents required to get a GST registration. How much does a GST number cost? The government does not charge you any fees when it comes to registration for GST. So government is not asking for any money for you to get the GST number. If something is asked money, it means your consultants are asking for money for their professional services. Can I surrender my GST number? Yes, you can surrender the GST numbers. However, you can do so only after 1 year from the date of registration. It can be carried out in the following 3 ways. The registered person can apply for cancellation, cancelled by the GST officer. The here legal can apply for cancellation following the date of the proprietor. So based on this, you can cancel the GST number. The government has released a detailed FAQ where you will get answer of lot of your questions related to GST. I request everyone to get the soft copy of this presentation where this link has been saved. You can click on the link and you will move to the CBIC website and you can see a detailed FAQ. Now, I would like to show you a video. Check. Thank you, everyone. Please send your WhatsApp message at 9008894408 with your name and email ID to get the copy of this today presentation. And also, I would like to get a feedback from you. One second, please. So, आपको जो भी है, whatever feedback you want, whatever topic you want to cover, please let me know. I will try to cover that topics in our next session. Thank you. Have a good day and stay safe.